think by this point, it's safe to say that James Gunn's foray into the DC universe with his new Superman movie has been a success. This is I Have No Title and I Must podcast. We're your hosts, Tyler
and Chris.
And again, for all of our listeners, we are now on most major podcasting platforms. So if you're listening to us on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you're listening to us anywhere else, be sure to give us a follow. So, Superman.
And like.
Yes.
Click the like button now before you forget and click away in the next minute. And also just walk away, finish listening to it, or just let it play to the end.
Because sometimes we're pretty good. Superman. So
the superest of men.
So if you want the non-spoiler version, we do have a review out.
It's so good.
So go listen to that. But with this, could be spoilers, could not be spoilers. No promises made.
All right. I want to open up by saying I saw randomly just on my feed, there was this podcast, and I want to make sure that I reference it properly, because I immediately, in the first 15 seconds, they nailed something that I'd never heard an analogy so aptly put for Superman before. And I went to their comment section and said, I'm going to reference you on the podcast that I am on. The podcast is Crazy Stupid Podcast. So they have as about a ridiculous a name as we do. There you go. Respect. The podcast is Superman 2025. Every man needs to watch this. Now, I don't know their names. I'm sorry. I did not get their names. But that is everything you need to know to go and watch their review. And it's not even that long. It's like a little over 30 minutes. Superman is a firefighter, not a cop. And if you think about it like that, then you know everything you need to know about what Superman should be. Now, that doesn't even detract from, like, what Zack Snyder did with him. It's not as if he tried to make him also a cop. He just made him a bad firefighter. When you when you just float over something that you could easily just stop, and then it destroys tens of thousands and causes tens of thousands of dollars worth of damage just because you didn't feel like it or you want to look cool, which is nobody's watching.
Especially knowing that not gonna hurt you.
Yeah. So I did I know Watchmen is a divisive movie. A lot of people, you can't film Watchmen. Zack Snyder changed Watchmen too much, except and saying that he changed the spirit of it. I don't know that he necessarily did. He understood Watchmen very well. It's cynical. It's dour. These people are broken. That was the point of Alan Moore's original comic. However, the thing that I think Snyder missed is that, it's not meant to be good. It's not supposed to be a good thing that these people are like this.
Just like the people, it's just like, oh yeah, I love Rorschach. You should not love Rorschach.
Alan Moore has said people who come up to him wearing a Rorschach t-shirt that are like, oh man, you created one of my favorite characters of all time. And he's like, please get away from me, and I don't want to talk to you anymore. That's psychotic. It's a cool looking character, and it's for me, it's like when you like a villain.
Yeah, it's okay to like the character. You should not idolize that character.
Yeah, that's the key difference, and which I think maybe with some of the people who've come up to Alan Moore have really freaked him out with that. Of course, then again, Alan Moore does have magic powers, so don't piss him off. Just saying. That's the thing is, what made Zack Snyder good for making a Watchmen film, a deconstructed version of superheroes from the 40s that were inspired by characters from the 40s. They were original, but always meant to be real characters from the 40s. Alan Moore didn't get the original rights to them, so he had to make up new ones, but he based them directly on previously written characters. Maybe not the best choice for the Man of Tomorrow, the symbol of hope, because that's what he did, is he deconstructed this character and made this Zack Snyder's Henry Cavill's Superman would have fit perfectly in the Watchmen universe with the Watchmen themselves. Yeah. He's this reluctant god who struggles with his place in society all the time, looking down on people, not usually just because he's floating above them, and wondering should I save them? He's questioning this the whole movie. He has to ask his real dad and his adopted dad. Should I save people? I don't even know. I have this awesome power, but like, bro, like I could be doing so. I mean, like I could, bro. And it's like, what is this Superman?
Yeah.
You have to, like, by the end of the film, his hologram dad is like, you could save them. Now, I know I emphasize the could part. I think that's what Zack is like, and you could save them. That's Zack Snyder, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of this toxic bullshit. Oh, you made an art film? No, you didn't. When Superman has like 10 minutes of dialogue and most of it's slow motion, that's not an art house film. I know art house films. It's weird stuff that people come out angry about. Not dude bros saying, oh, it's cool, dude. 20 years later, like, oh, look at this guy wearing underwear. I've never read a Superman comic, but he's my favorite character. I've got 30 Superman shirts. Come at me, bro. You don't know what you're talking about. Maybe you should go read Watchmen and, like, come all over Rorschach's character because he's so cool. Well, really, it'd be the comedian, wouldn't it? He doesn't even need to ask permission, bro. No means yes, and yes means... God, I've already said so much worse stuff. This has to stop. Like, it used to be this college culture and stuff that was in locker rooms and, like, it was just in gyms and I'm not trying to demonize, like, all this stuff, but, like, because there are good people, like Generation Tech, that guy from, the Star Wars channel, that guy, loved what he had to say when he was talking about Andor and, like, Brasso, this guy who, he's not a superhuman, he's just a big guy, but that forces you to have a responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility, even among normal humans. When you are a bigger person, you can choose to be a bully. Yeah, you can. Or you can choose to stop bullies in their tracks, and you can. And he said they put an end. This guy from Generation Tech. I'm sorry, I cannot remember his name. Can you remember his name? I can't remember his name, but it's his YouTube channel. He does a lot of Star Wars stuff. He talked about, like, when they did football in high school, there was bullying, hazing culture. They put a stop to it. His years there, they set a new trend, and that is just to be overtly positive, take care of the smaller people in hazing and bullying, and set a better example. That's not even part of the equation here in Superman, but it is part of the equation in our society right now. I think it's cool to bully people. It's cool to make fun of people, and I think this has to end. And I like to have a guy like there's two I mentioned in the other review, the thing about the squirrel, the Superman saving the squirrel, I think sums up this movie. That's the sort of man he is.
Yeah, I seen someone talking, or I think it was the cast members talking, like, this pertained to his costume specifically, but I think fits the overall thing we're talking about here is Superman's supposed to be that beacon of hope for everyone. And so they were talking about, like, why the trunks? Because it looks ridiculous. Like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And they're like, maybe that's the point, is that even though you have that power, it's okay to look ridiculous. And because not only do you need to be able to stop every threat, you need to also be able to have that little kid come up to you and ask for directions if they're lost. Or ask you for help if they get separated from their parent. Top
tip, guys, if you have kids and you're worried about them ever getting lost, tell them, find a punk, find a goth.
Or a metalhead.
They are the kindest people who don't mind sticking out in a crowd, and they will help you. Hell, if you as an adult need help, find a goth, find a punk, find somebody who looks scary, generally, to your normie towny eyes.
And I think we need to preface, like, counterculture scary, not this guy might be on drugs scary.
Yeah, like I have stories about that, but we won't get into that right now. Those are the people who are going to help you because they do care. I don't know what is in their DNA. Also, it's like the altruism algorithm. It's like autistic people, most autistic people, not all of them, but have this acutely keen sense of justice. And I don't think that's part of the equation here with Superman. So I don't want to conflate the two things here because I don't think that this version of, Mr. Terrific maybe, but that's a whole other thing. We could devote a whole other hour to Mr. Terrific, even from just this movie, but even down to the reason, the dichotomy in that there's a lot in this movie. Like the dad, one of the things that James in from the Weekly Planet said that he thought that the moment, and I knew what he was talking about, the moment was more emotional in Zack Snyder's movie with Kevin Costner, and he got a lot of flack for it. I knew the moment he was talking about where he said, "You are my son," and his voice breaks. Just that tiny moment when he said, can we still pretend that I'm your son, or whatever it is he says. And he's like, you are my son. Whereas in this one, he's just telling him, like, his dad's telling him how proud he is of him. But even that, and like the mom is a bit more reserved. I love that. And it's very on purpose to show strong women. We haven't talked about that. Like showing restraint as men, as positive masculinity. And also just still to have positive, strong women who either as a mom or a partner or even a side character in this. Not to say all women are side characters. There will be other times. There'll probably be a Lois spinoff and other things. But just to say when the male is the main character in this specific case, please don't come after me for this, please. But when it's Superman and you have Lois and his mom, the two most important female figures in his life, they are extremely powerful, potent characters. And to show them in the way that they have here, that she's, they're just the stronger characters, and the men are the more emotional ones, and not afraid to show their emotions.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's probably one of my favorite parts from this movie.
Which part?
Like, just his interaction with his, Earth parents. It's like, they know that he is practically invincible. Mm-hmm. And then to see this man just, fret over his, son, just are you okay? It's going to be okay. What do you think? And
yeah, and for him to tell him, all these people are saying all this stuff about you, but I'm so proud of you. Look at all you've done for people, and it's because you just are infinitely good. You see the beauty in everybody. The thing I didn't finish my thought. That is one of the two scenes, the dichotomy between the Snyder, because he would never hold him back. He would say, this version of, they didn't, but this version of Jonathan Kent would say, go save him. What are you waiting for? This is what you do. And whereas the other one was maybe. He literally said, should I have let those people die? And he was like, who can say? Can they dissect you? They might find a way. Maybe you should stay secret. Maybe you should just play the stock market or something. That bugged me. But the other thing is the giving him the handcuffing scenes and the reasoning for it. When Superman's there being interrogated by what was actually the Martian Manhunter, but we don't know it and never were able to really find out. Would have been cool. In Zack Snyder's movie, he's like, oh, you misunderstand. Yeah, I'm here voluntarily, so I'm going to leave whenever I want. Whereas in this one, he is telling Lois, I'm going to go turn myself in. And she's like, what? You can't, what? Why? And he's like, they have crypto, and he's just a dog. He's probably scared. It was not just everybody's beautiful, not just everybody has good in them and deserves to have a chance to be redeemed, and I have to save everybody, but every life is important. And it's not even his dog. Of course, he is dog sitting and see, I don't even, people said that gets revealed later, and which I was I thought it was pretty clear, it's not, in this version, it's not necessarily his dog. He clearly does not have control. It's not even, the dog does not have an owner, okay? The dog goes where the dog wants to go, and the dog is its own entity. So, the trunks thing, back to your point about the trunks, and that I think David Cornsweet pushed for having trunks, because it does make him look a little ridiculous, because he wants to, and they brightened the blue. They took it even brighter. It's this, goes back to this thing about, Doctor Who, where not every doctor, certain of the doctors, they want to look kind of there's a certain look you have to go for, but then it has to be a little slightly goofy, slightly off from normal society. You want to be, the Doctor is scary, and Doctor Who can be very scary as a show, but you want children to be able to come up and take you by the hand and ask for help. You don't want to be so scary that you are seen as a monster, because he can be a monstrous character. If someone, I don't think anybody's really taken the time to Some people have. James Gunn has. But I don't think people watching this step back and look out into society and think about what the world would be like if one person existed like this. Like Dr. Manhattan or Clark Kent. That would fundamentally change all of society. Just one person. And it would be like Homelander. It would be, they are the most feared individual in all of human history in 1 second. And they have the power to upend every city, government, kill every person on the planet, and they choose not to. What's their game? What are they doing? Why are they doing this? Just because he was raised by good people. Maybe my first real big critique of it was the scene where they're talking to him on the phone near the beginning of the movie. That seemed a little too much with the yelling into the phone. But they get redeemed later when they're just normal. They just have the thick accents. Allison, my fiance, said she really liked the casting of the people because most of the time it's like they get models, they just get like Aunt May, it's like you could have gotten somebody who looks like Aunt May, but they just decided to get which there was actually, I know there are reasons for that because they wanted to get somebody who doesn't look like Aunt May. They wanted to get an MJ, but not like Mary Jane. But, Kevin Costner for Pa Kent, come on.
No, these people feel like real people.
Yeah, great actor, but too good looking. Whereas these people look like random people you'd find in Kansas or anywhere. So there's that. One thing I did want to mention, one thing that I also really loved, and this has to be what this is from, but I haven't heard anybody else reference it, and I've heard some breakdown videos and Easter egg videos. Even on New Rockstars, he played the whole clip, but I don't think he said anything about it. But there's this moment when they're fighting the kaiju, and it he ends up being stomped underground into the ground, and then he Bugs Bunny tunnels out, and it's showing the concrete kind of bust up, and then he flies up out of there, and there's a little girl cheering for him. But the moment when he's doing the Bugs Bunny thing, I was that's obviously a reference to Bugs Bunny and Warner Brothers. It's a Warner Brothers property. If you don't remember anything else from this podcast, I just want you to remember that they made a Bugs Bunny reference in Superman by having Superman actually do a Bugs Bunny thing. And I don't think we've really talked about Lex Luthor in either of these.
No. He
was the one person I was iffy about for casting, Nicholas Hoult.
I think he did a really good job.
For me, because I didn't know how this was going to go. And I wasn't necessarily sold even through the first third of the film. Thought he was okay. But when they have him, when they're in the pocket dimension or whatever, and he plays Russian roulette, except it's with somebody else. Yeah. That was hardcore. And it didn't feel like too much. It felt like they need to do this to show what this Lex is about. Yeah. But beyond that, especially to the end of it, when he just gets so emotional. They chose him. That's in the trailer, but just that. And when Clark is giving him his "I'm human" speech, and just the way that he's looking at him with this intensity, he's still scared of him, but it's he's pissed. But he's just this such a sociopath that but he hates this one thing more than anybody else because he wants to create problems and save society, but it has to be, he doesn't care if society gets saved, he just wants the adulation from it
and the profit off of it.
Right, yeah. So that's what a lot of people have equated this to, people like Elon and other tech billionaires. That's they don't really want to save society, they just want to be recognized for having saved society.
Yeah, except unlike these other tech billionaires, Lex is actually a genius.
Yeah, that too. So when you look at it like that, the analogy falls apart. He doesn't invent things that have already been invented.
Or buy companies and say that he invented it.
Yeah, or rename companies to people who were geniuses to equate that with yourself, who is not a genius. But man, in that scene when he's just he's so wide-eyed, just listening to this guy, tell him all the reasons why, you shouldn't hate me. And so much of this was heavily inspired by Grant Morrison's Superman. We didn't know for sure if it was really good, but a lot of it really is.
Yeah, I think specifically the All-Star Superman.
Yeah, the All-Star Superman run where Grant Morrison, Superman is dying essentially, and how does one live out their life? And it's, it's not canon. It's like a one-shot kind of, I think, a 12-issue story. Kind of like the one with Silver Surfer died, just out of context, out of continuity story of like, what? There is no coming back from this. This is a yes, this is the end of his life, and how would he deal with it? Story, that specific comic, not the movie. In this, he's not fighting for his humanity. He's fighting to be recognized for his humanity. Like, yes, I have these powers, and yes, I do come from another place, but I'm just as human as you, because that's a state of mind. It's in your heart. And he states the reasons. Like, I get scared. I love. I don't know what I'm doing, but I just keep trying to do what's best. And then Nicholas Hoult just sells that intensity, and like the way that he hates so intensely. It's not one of those like, I like this villain. It's like, he is so disgustingly what he is. He sold me on it. He sold me on this character. This is the thing. At the original Christopher Reeve Superman, Gene Hackman played Lex Luthor so charmingly, because Gene Hackman is so good at what he does that you can't even dislike him. Like, he's trying to kill Superman or play some cat and mouse game that he invents himself. But it's like, you just, he's constantly cracking wise and like being smooth, and that's not that anymore.
No. And I think Jesse Eisenberg also was not the right casting choice for Lex in the other movies. He just seemed like he'd be better suited as like the Riddler or something.
Yeah, I don't hate Jesse Eisenberg on paper, but for a lot, like, to play to have gotten cast as Mark Zuckerberg in the network almost seemed like typecasting for him. And so I get what they were doing. I do. It's like when they had Topher Grace play Venom.
Yeah.
And I feel almost like they should have they bulked the Venom up a little, but not to the insane degree that, like, when Eddie Brock, who is already like a large individual, gets in the Venom symbiote suit, it's like he gets up there, like not as large as Juggernaut, but like bigger than he normally is. Whereas I thought, they've cast Topher Grace. Okay, this will be an interesting take. It'll be like Nega Spider-Man. Like it'll be a thin, tall, lanky version of Venom that we'll get. And it's like, they kind of did, but they didn't commit to it. It was somewhere in between. And if they'd really done that, it would have been like a different, interesting take. Whereas I think...
It didn't come off believable. It wasn't threatening.
They botched a few... They botched a lot in that movie. Still Sam Raimi. I think he was just phoning it in at a certain point because of studio interference and that having to shoehorn in things he didn't want to do. So they did the same thing with Lex. It's like, let's just take him. We'll give him... It's almost like Zack Snyder's like, bald? Bro. Long hair. How about that? Imposing? Creepy. Okay? Like,
what if he's a little dweeby?
Yeah, like, one of those computer guys. One of those computer guys that I used to pound on in high school. Yeah, I wonder what those guys are doing now. Probably mad at me. And, yeah, I mean, if that were the character, he would have played it brilliantly. Like this creepy, weird guy under better writing. Yeah, I think he would have made a pretty good Riddler. There's just something about, I don't know. Like, I hope I never have to meet Jesse Eisenberg and pretend to like him. Yeah. He's probably nice in person. I hope he's mean in person, so that like all the like me.
So it's like I'm justified.
Yeah,
like he's nice. You're like, I feel bad now.
Yeah, it would. He'd be like, "Why'd you say those things about me?" And I'm like, "You listen to my podcast? That's super awesome. Do you want to come on? Because we could have a nice talk. It would be over Zoom because I don't want to be in the same room with you." But there you go. Leading to Crypto coming in and destroying Lex, which was maybe one of the funnier scenes in the film, which some people have talked, not everybody is latched onto, not just Crypto latched onto Lex. Obviously, also, I think paying homage back to the beginning of Marvel, well, the culmination of one of the lead-ups, when Hulk destroyed Loki in the first Avengers movies, I was like, oh my god, this is so cathartic. But it also, like, I felt like was a direct reference to that, like, shooting the, hey guys, salute back to his alma mater, back at alma mater, leave all that in. Alma mater back in back at Marvel. And it was great. Just like, Superman's not going to do it, but like, Crypto, who has near human intelligence, like, that's also in the comics. I don't know, it's not explicitly spelled out here, but that's in the comics, that's the case. That's why he obeys or doesn't commands, because he doesn't have to. And where he's just like, wait, I just put it together. Is that the guy who made me chase squirrels and put those things on my head and had me trapped for like a few days? This guy, and just goes to town on him. Hilarious. And just how, Mr. Terrific.
Yes. I think borderline steals the scenes he's in.
Oh, yeah. So good. That guy, that's the guy who played, in X-Men First Class. Darwin. Everyone's pointed this out. Darwin evolves to adapt to any situation. Essentially not immortal, but essentially unkillable. And I mean, depending on who's writing, it could be redefined as immortal. You could make that argument.
Because in my mind, in order to kill him, you would have to hit him with a variety of things in rapid succession, so the point that his body could not keep up.
Right. And they would all have to be things that would absolutely be fatal.
Yes. Because if he had any time to adapt, he would.
Right. And then they kill him in the slowest, stupidest way in X-Men First Class. Plus, he's black. So it just felt like, now there was another, like I think Zoe Kravitz is in that. She makes it to the end, but it just felt like the old trope of like the black guy dies first in the horror movie or whatever. And I was like, for real, the one guy, you could have made him any other character. You could have made him, I don't even know.
Especially the guy named after survival of the fittest kind of thing.
There's dozens of F list X-Men characters that, like Darwin. Nobody knew who Darwin was unless you read comics. They could have made him that blue guy that has the worms or something. You know, the guy, he's like, wears a trench coat.
Oh, Maggot?
Yeah, they could have made him Maggot and like made him look exactly like he does. And they're like, what's your powers?
The duck-looking guy from the newer comic books.
Beak?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah, and he would have just looked normal, but he's got wings. I don't know. Yeah. Which is also Angel. I think that was his girlfriend in the new ones. From Grant Morrison's run. I think he created both of those characters. They could have been a romance thing, and then he gets killed. Would have made perfect sense to then kill him. Although I disagree with, like, if they had to have one of them die, I think they should have picked a bigger character. A well-known character to go ahead and sacrifice. X-Men gets rebooted every other movie anyways. They were gonna it wouldn't have mattered. Pick one that, like Iceman or something.
But I think they give him his time to shine here as Mr. Terrific.
Oh, yeah.
Just, like, low-key hilarious.
Yes. And, like, he's so smooth. I mean, this, like, vindicates his death. For me, even though it's completely disconnected, it vindicates his death in X-Men First Class. Because, it's all comic book stuff. Some people don't even know there's a difference between DC and Marvel. Somebody at work once argued with me, and I bring this up once a year or so, that, like, Daredevil was a DC character. And I was like, nope. And they're like, are you sure? And I'm like, yes, I'm sure. You're not sure, but you seem to be. Anyway, real quick, because I did not know Mr. Terrific's origin, but he's like, I think from the 90s. The original Mr. Terrific is like golden age era and still had the fair play like thing written across him, the moniker. I thought was strange, but that's what he about. He basically the same kind of guy that he was, just like the third smartest person in the world. And depending on what version it is, his wife and unborn child die in a car crash after they have an argument. So he's gonna commit, right? You'll have to bleep that, I guess. But he's gonna do something bad to himself where afterward he's not gonna be alive anymore. And the Spectre comes to him and is like, bro, why are you doing this? And he's like, my wife and unborn child died, and sometimes my brother, depending
original
on...
Spectre or second?
I think it was Garrick. I think it was original Spectre. I think this predates Hal Jordan Spectre. I think that was later. And he just tells him the story of the original Mr. Terrific and is like, like, hey, you could do cool stuff. And he's like, isn't that like copyright protected? And he's like, dude's dead. Go for it. And he's like, I don't technically believe in you either, because I'm an atheist. And he's like, but I believe in you. And thus, the new Mr. Terrific is born and is now finally really. I mean, he's already made like an live action debut and a few other things, but and some animated stuff. But he's now getting mainstream.
So I was going to say he was in the later seasons of Arrow from the Arrowverse run.
This one they got just right though. Mm-hmm. Like his hair is just right, the makeup is just right. The suit, he said, was terribly uncomfortable. I've heard some people complain about that thing that he's kind of riding in.
Oh yeah.
That he's when he's
that
down on the ground, he's like
or...
walking around in it, and it looks super awkward. And I'm like, that's just I love that better than like everything being nanotech. You know, like in Marvel now, if it's inconvenient, snap of the fingers and it's gone. It's dumb. You know, like in the new Ironheart, they have her flying in, suit opens up and she steps out of it, just like original Iron Man. Mm-hmm. Well, even original Iron Man used to have trouble getting out of his suit. That's real. That's what it would really be like. Show us a little of that. Show us a little bit of awkward. Hot girl. I don't know what's going on with her wings. I want hawk people to just have the wings all the time. Like, let them be practical. Let them that be awkward. That was the one, another, like, it's a nitpick, but I hate when things have wings and stuff and they just disappear. Where do they go? What are they? Is this explained? Are you reincarnated? Are you what are you?
It's like, to be fair, the Hawkman and Hawkgirl up until like the last 6-7 years was very complicated.
Yes, like always, like they could never decide what they are. Are they aliens? Are they reincarnated things? Are they?
I think they've now coalesced, and it's all of those things because they keep reincarnating throughout different iterations.
Yeah, it's like she is human and yet also is alien and has the memories of this other thing from when she died, and they merged somehow. And it's that, I don't know. She even said, I don't know how they're going to explain this. Hopefully they do well. James Gunn knows how to do convoluted stuff in a convincing way.
It's like the most convenient answer is, yep.
Yeah, like just leave it like this. Is that what it is? Sure. And they don't have to get too into it. I hope. I don't even really care about the backstory or whatever. I just want like wings that stay. And she was the least used of the Justice Gang, the three characters. But like at the end, they nailed her with the scream. It was just like, it took me right back to Justice League Unlimited, all those cartoons. It just felt like intense. And she gets that. She just like bangs through the hallway and grabs that dickhead dictator guy. And he's like, you don't kill me, and Superman would be mad. And she's like, I ain't Superman. And they don't show him hit, but she dropped his ass. And that was, I mean, like, I was audible in the audience in the theater. I loved that. And, you know, even still, like, Guy Gardner being such a dick. But, like, few things we were wrong about that everyone was wrong about in, like, the trailer. We see them fighting that, like, big eyeball, like, energy thing in the background. And it was, like, the big promotional shot they released of Superman where he's, like, looking like he's suiting up to go fight the main bad guy at the end or something. He doesn't even go fight it. He's just like, yeah, they got this. And just, like, Guy Gardner, like, hitting it with a bat several times and it's doing nothing. That was genius too, to super throw us off. And one of the other big things is like that kid hoping for, you know, saying Superman, and then it's Guy Gardner who shows up at the end, which is, you know, like a little disappointing, but he gets to deliver that line.
Yeah, it's like, you know, Superman sends his best.
Yeah, you got the upgrade. And of course he would say something like that. But the other scene was like where they go into that building and then Guy like puts up the shield around, you know, to block out all the people so they can't see what's going on in there after everybody's turned against him because of Lex's propaganda. And I always thought maybe they were coming to confront him or something, but they're actually all friends at that point, and they're coming just to say like, what's going on with you?
That's one of the things I loved is, again, I think I talked about it in our review of this being a semi-established world already, and that Superman was so trusting with them. It's like, oh, you know Clark? They're like,
yeah.
he should not be trusting you.
Yes. Why does he trust everyone? And I love that line. I don't think it's getting enough attention. It's gotten some, but like, because we are also of the cloth. And like Mr. Terrific's reaction, like that minor head tilt, and Hot Girl's groan, and he's, just like, just like gesturing to their superhero costumes. Brilliant. That, like this version of I hope they do a deep diving into Guy and like do his origin at some point, because it's actually really interesting.
The best response I've seen to Guy Gardner's character actually comes from one of the animated series. They're like the Justice League's having a discussion about adding new members. They're like, what about another Green Lantern? Isn't there Guy Gardner here? And Hal and John are both like, no.
Yeah. His stories also get somewhat convoluted in the middle, depending on what continuity you're in, but they clean it up later and leave some of that alone because it got out of control at some point. There was something else I was going to comment upon. The punk rock nature of...
Yeah, that's what I was wanting to talk about, to kind of like bookend your toxic masculinity thing.
Yeah. So apparently it was Brosnahan, the woman playing Lois, who was like, part of her unwritten backstory, Lois's unwritten backstory, is that in her teenage years she was real punk to rebel against her, military army brat upbringing, because her dad's in the military. And they went with it. Apparently, now I don't know how much that altered the script. Or what they added in for it. But like they must have added something, because it has such an underlying through line down to the song that plays during the closing credits.
Yeah, because my thing was like Clark is being like, yeah, I'm punk rock. They're like, you're not punk rock. He's like, maybe this is punk rock.
Yeah, when she says, you think everyone's beautiful.
Yeah.
And his response is that maybe that's
having hope in humanity and doing the right thing for the right thing's sake should not be the counterculture thing. It should not be punk rock. But I think Clark's right. It kind of has to become punk rock.
Yeah. Then that's why we say, find the goth, find the punk. They will help you. Not during a concert. They're fully committed to whatever concert they're at. And if you get too close, you might catch some
sucked into the mosh pit.
Yeah. So don't think you're safe there. But out in public, that's the person you want to go to. They'll drop everything to help you, generally, unless you get that one dickhead in the group. There's always the one outlier, but like by and large, yes. And those were real tender moments that I think it probably turned a lot of people off. Good. Take a cold hard look at yourself. I think in a time when literally Christianity is being co-opted into something that it really isn't. They're saying things that were not in line with those values. Taking it
complete opposite, actually.
Yes, to turn it into that. To say people from other races and cultures are less than human. I've heard these arguments before, Charles, and I don't like where we're headed. So this symbol of hope and this shining example is something like, I think James Gunn in real life is probably a dick, and that's fine because he underneath it all, I think it's probably a veneer.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, if you aren't used to James Gunn, he might seem like a dick, but I don't think he's actually a dick.
Like, if you really know him. I mean, how often when somebody gets fired for political reasons do all of your coworkers sign a letter and like go to like demand your reinstatement to your job? Like, that's what happened when he was fired for like decades old tweets.
Yeah, because that's my thing. It's like, were they funny? No. Were they like insensitive? Very much.
But that's your humor.
But were they clearly jokes? Yeah, I think they were.
Also, were they funny to some people?
Oh, I'm sure someone found them hilarious.
Yeah. Do you have a Twitter?
No. I just think it's
convenient. Convenient that you deleted your Twitter just in time so that we couldn't see your tweets, or that you liked all of James Gunn's insensitive, quote-unquote, tweets.
I was going to say, my social medias are very boring.
I want to take a minute to talk about the other most recent, really great example of Superman, which was heavily overlooked, but received extremely well and just wrapped up at the end of last year, but I didn't get to watch it until the beginning of this year, which was the Superman like the Superman and Lois.
Kind of the Arrowverse Superman.
Yes, the even it was the Flaro multiverse. I don't think he existed in that specific one, but that's where the actor first portrayed was one of those versions. The version where they start with his own TV show, he's, a fair bit older, I think in his maybe mid to late 30s. And it's very similar to David Cornsweet. They handled that so well. The biggest and I love this show, don't get me wrong. I really got sucked in. But it is a drama. There are very few light-hearted moments, and that's what sucks you in and keeps you going. It's like one of those water cooler shows. Like, oh my god, can you believe what they're gonna do? This cliffhanger. But I cried the whole last 10 minutes of the show. It is gut-wrenching. If you haven't watched it, it's really not even that long. It's only like 4 or 5 seasons, and it's not like 20 episodes a season like they used to do in the 90s. It's really a fairly fast watch. But like the way, again, it's a drama. So there's not, but when they do have a joke, it's really lighthearted, or when he really gets to play like happy, or that because it's him as a dad. He has these 2 teenage boys. It's great. It is mostly a drama, so it's really sometimes hard to watch, but compelling. But he's never not what he is. True Superman. I don't think Tyler Hoechlin gets enough credit. And the Lois in that, the woman who plays Lois, sorry, I don't know everybody's names. That's not this kind of podcast. We don't do Easter eggs and everything here. I don't have all these notes. But she was perfect, too. As good as Brosnahan is in this new one. A different type, because she's a bit older. And she's a mom. And she's been a mom for nearly 20, I guess closer, like between 15 and 20 years. So a different type of character, but still very committed to her job and now her family. The one we're seeing in this new Superman is she is committed to integrity, and her journalistic integrity and getting to the truth. But yeah, I just wanted to, everybody's looking at Henry Cavill handing over the torch to David Cornsweet. If James Gunn has talked about this, like the way that they announced Henry Cavill was coming back, and he was like, oh my god, we're not doing that. This is terrible that they've done this to this guy, because we have to talk to him now. And he requested that he got to say that he, was stepping out. And he was like, of course, we'll let you do that. And he said he felt so bad about how that went down, and that was not his doing, that he would not have had it go down that way. But I think really it's Tyler Hoechlin handing off the torch. The last person to really play Superman on screen, whether it be a small screen or a big screen. And I think he also truly embodied the real spirit of Superman, start to finish, in that show. And if you just watched this movie and did not watch the show, and you're like, I want to see some more Superman. I want to get to the bottom of this whole Superman thing. Watch that most recent Superman show. It's finished. It's got a start and a finish. They finished it, it's got an ending.
Not like a cliffhanger.
Oh my God, does it have an ending? You might even disagree with aspects of the ending, but you're gonna do it through sobs. I guarantee you that. If you haven't, you need to watch this. You need to watch this. I promise you. And yeah, I felt like that Tyler Hoechlin needs to be part of this discussion, because I think he could have also, I think he's a bit older than what they really wanted for what they want to carry on with. But one more thing, and we had a 1-sentence discussion on Instagram about this, but they're having, what's his name? Momoa come back as Lobo.
Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Momoa.
Why not Henry Cavill as not Bizarro, not Ultraman, not any of this, not any fake Superman? Why not Batman?
I could see that.
Yeah. Because canonically, Batman and Superman always, like, especially in the animated stuff, they always look like too similar. Why not? Like, they both would have played Superman. They both look like Superman. They both look kind of like each other in a weird way. It could work.
Yeah, I know some people have thrown out Alan Ritchson's name as Batman.
I saw that too.
I just don't like him for Batman.
Yeah.
Someone else. Who that someone else is right now, I don't know.
See, I think a Henry Cavill or a Zack Snyder Superman makes for a good Batman in real, in like a James Gunniverse in my brain. I think that could work. And I think it would make a lot of people really happy. Yeah. Instead of just like having him be a villain somewhere or one of the fake Supermen.
But like have him involved.
Yeah, like not just a name check. Like we had like, you know, what he does with a lot of people. Not to say James Gunn does that with a lot of people, but that's what ends up happening with a lot. You know, it's like, well, we let them come in to have them be name checked or whatever.
And can we also say thank you, James Gunn, for actually giving us an actual Jimmy Olsen instead of a, hey, you know that nameless guy that was on screen for 2 minutes that got killed? That was Jimmy.
Yeah. I know I keep ragging on Zack Snyder. Competent filmmaker at times. Made some bad stuff. But his quote about that was, yeah, let's just have some fun with it. So they had him shot in the head by terrorists?
Without even, like, naming
him
in the film.
And saying posthumously after the fact, like,
that's not an Easter egg. That's kind of you being a dick.
Yeah. This Jimmy was, like, apparently in the comics, you know, like, depending on what version or how long you go, he's even dated Lois Lane. Mm-hmm. Like, he is a ladies' man. I thought this was one of the best Jimmys we've seen on screen. And one of the other scenes that I really loved, the crazy weird stuff like not underground, but like in that pocket dimension was pretty cool, like visually, like the pixelated stuff. I think we're headed to, you know, the pixelated like river.
Not coalesced.
Yeah, like that's clear, like whatever they dropped Ultraman into, that's clearly going to be like a Bizarro thing later. But like at the end, when everyone's evacuating and Lois and Jimmy have like the big conspiracy chart and they're just explaining it to the chief and he's just sitting there in his chair, like taking it in. All right, you sold me on it. And amidst all this chaos, and I love the camaraderie of that he believes in his people so much that he would sit here at the end of the world to listen to them. That like, we have something important to say. All right, let's have it. Instead of like, shut up, we're evacuating. Like, no, you know, like, I trust you this much because you're my guys. You're my top guys.
Except that one guy, kind of a tack on. How many seats does this thing have? Okay, yeah, I guess you come with this too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you always need like one douche in the mix for some comedy relief. So, but yeah, it's like.
That makes sense. It's like when situations get tough, we can't be fighting with each other. We got to put it on this guy.
Yeah. And it's just like, James Gunn understands what's, you know, the best of us. It's not just Superman. It's like everybody. When you pull together and you have this team and you, you know, like in real life, when I don't know, so much of this, it's like, what's the best part about Zack Snyder's universe? Like everybody's at each other's throats and we all hate each other and we're making cool quips or looking cool. And like, it's really just when people come together and put their differences aside, if they even have them, and come together as a team. And more than that, when you're really a family, that's what Guardians was about. Is like, not your family you're born with, not blood, but like, are we family? You bet we are. And it doesn't matter where in the universe you're from. That's your people. You take care of those people. And when the shit goes down, you pull together and get things done. It's just great. Like from every aspect. The Justice Gang, Daily Planet Gang, Superman Crypto, and arguably the best line in the movie, I'm the Mr. Terrific. Nobody else thought that was as funny as I did.
I loved it. That's my line of the movie.
Yes. James Gunn truly understands human nature.
Yeah, James Gunn understands. So Zaslav, stay out of it.
Yeah, like be true to your word. He's just being his hype man. He's like, you guys don't even know what we got coming up. He's like Flavor Flavin him up in here. Just keep doing that.
That's the only thing he should be doing, because everything else he's touched so far been stupid. Anyway.
Yeah, hopefully we get... some people probably thought Supergirl goes too hard, is too much in this. There's a reason. We'll get that reason later.
Yeah.
And it'll be a good reason. Hopefully Lanterns is good. I've not watched Peacemaker, but I'm going to go back and watch it now because I'm interested in what... And every clip I've seen has been good. It's funny.
For Peacemaker, you have to set your expectations. It is completely stupid, and you got to be okay with that.
That's the thing, is like am I gonna like this? Is it gonna be like suicide? Yeah, it's just gonna be like funny, stupid action stuff, right? So, you know, turn your brain off and enjoy the ride.
That's what this is. This is a roller coaster of stupid. You just turn your brain off and ride till the end.
And sometimes funny is all you need. So, yeah. I would like to We got Fantastic Four coming up. Hopefully next week we'll be able to film like an on-time, review for that. And get that out in a timely fashion, even if it's just a shorter non-spoiler review. And then we've talked about what you wanted to talk about was the larger ramifications of where we're going.
Yeah. With the success of this movie and as of unknown success of Fantastic Four.
Which, who knows? We get surprises. Thunderbolts was great, but nobody knew what the was. So, and there weren't characters in there that people loved enough to really check in. Plus, Marvel's not done so well lately.
They're slowly having to work to regain that trust.
Yes. So, as you were saying, it's gone to streaming now, and it's doing better on streaming than it did at the theater. So that word of mouth worked, and people are like, oh yeah, maybe I should check it out. Which also, by the way, a lot of much like when Willow was, like Nega Willow and Buffy, they saved the day through a group hug. So, if anybody thinks that's stupid, you don't have a heart. Isn't everybody tired of everybody complains about the comic book movies, same formulaic comic book movies, tropes, comic book fatigue. Well, guess what? Give us some original stories. This one did. It finally did, and then nobody wanted to watch it. They did make a good film. It went at a clip. It never felt like you got dropped in on the second act. It felt like the first act just kind of ran, and like the movie grabs you and doesn't let you go, and it has a few little lulls, but it's like, when do we jump into the second? Oh, we're in the third act. Okay, here we go. So I really enjoyed that. I hope that Fantastic Four looks good. It looks different, which is always good.
Yeah.
Something that looks different and feels different. They did not swap the genders on Silver Surfer. Don't be stupid. That's Shala Ball, Norin Rad's wife.
Yeah, for everyone that keeps saying woke, I want you to know, I hate you.
So, you're using it wrong. You co-opted it to be something negative. Stop saying it.
Even the people that originally used it, I hate the reason you use it for. I also hate you.
Wow, you just really going in on everybody.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. I will burn every breath to prove my point.
Okay.
Like and subscribe.
If you haven't already. So here we go. We'll be talking about that soon. Be on the lookout for that, because I think we're in the midst of a big sea change in the landscape of comic book films.
I hope we're not going to eat our words on that, because we're recording before it comes out, but this will go out after it comes out. So
yeah. I mean, I hope it's good. These are the two films that I've been looking forward to for some time. Superman is kind of a bigger deal because it's DC's flagship in a lot of ways. And so
it's going to be essentially the foundation moving forward.
It was going to be divisive no matter what. And it clearly is. There's a vocal minority. If you look online, that is a vocal minority. But look at how it's trending, and look at what the positive things people are saying. Just a quick second here at the end. If you've lasted this long with us, you're really in with us. We've got you pulled in, or you fell asleep, or were rendered unconscious by something, and this is still on.
Or you're wanting to see where our descent into madness ends.
Yeah, or exactly how many minority groups Tyler will eventually alienate. Spoiler, it's all of them.
It's like, oh, no, I'm fine with minorities. It's assholes.
So it's the majorities you don't like, huh?
Yeah, because right now, assholes are the majority, and I hate them.
So one thing is, it's a weird thing, because Superman is close to my heart. It's a big thing from my teenage years, and also my childhood. We didn't have the comic book films that we do now. It was much rarer, and I didn't own a whole lot of VHS. We had some, and we had things we taped off TV too. But when you caught Superman on television, it's he has superpowers. He's brightly colored. He can fly. He can do this stuff. And it was just there weren't that many of them. That Spider-Man movie from the 70s sucked, and they never played that. I think it was maybe early 80s, but it sucked. So it was always cool to see Superman. So this is something that is a lifelong thing for me. Another thing that is a lifelong kind of weird obsession of mine is Tron. And so here's our Tron check-in. What the going on with Tron?
I still need to go watch that trailer.
You gotta see this, and I want to come back to this before. I think we have until it's like September, November, or something like that. I'd like to really do a deep dive on Tron as a whole. We only get a Tron movie every like 20 or 30 years. Could we get a good one in my lifetime? Just one like solid, like everybody's talking about it. It's like, oh my God, did you see the Tron movie? Yeah, I did. Everybody's seeing it, bro. It like changed my life. Could we get one that's like that without Jared Leto in it? Maybe. Is that not a thing that we could do? In the new trailer, there's no main characters. So yeah, they're bringing Jeff Bridges back. He came back for it. He's in it. He's in the trailer a little bit. I knew that he was coming back. I don't know to what degree or how much he's in it. It would be awesome if he were the main character again. Okay, because Jeff Bridges is super awesome, but Jared Leto is not. Jared Leto is introduced as what is maybe an antagonist, which is what we thought. He is the titular Ares, but he also is maybe the good guy or something. And any of the regular humans, it's not made clear at all what's going on with anything. It's just like Tron stuff in the real world is the premise. Doesn't this look cool? We've done more complicated things visually that your eyes will not be able to keep up with, especially if you see it in 3D, is what appears to be going on. Am I going to go see? I can't wait to go see this movie, but Jared Leto. This is coming from like a lot of people. It's like anybody but him. It's ugh. And it's not even that he's like a bad actor and all the other.
It's his extracurricular.
Yeah, well that too. But my thing with his acting is like, it's one of those guys like, I'm good and I know it. And he just goes like an inch too far on stuff. Like Redmayne. Redmayne can be like really good, but it's like when you take him off you got to keep him on a leash. You got to have a really good director to like harness his awesome acting talent. But then if you take him off the leash, he's like, I create life and I can destroy it. And you're like, okay, you need to tone it down. And we'll do that again, okay? We won't get into Nick Cage. I think we have before. But like, why does he have to have a beard and everything? I mean, it's nothing against people with beards. For those of you who don't know, Tyler has a beard. And every day I think about ways that I could like shave it and like that he wouldn't know about it. Like chloroform, Rufalin, whatever, like what's going to keep him asleep long enough. But I haven't done it yet. And also the fact that I just revealed that plan, he's probably going to be a little more on guard. But like, why would a Tron program have beard? It's weird. Is it not weird? Like Flynn has a beard but he's a real person and he's an old man. Makes sense. That's I don't love it, but whatever.
We have better computer technology now.
Yeah, they can
render hair.
Yes, sure. So you're going to make, I think he's meant to be like a security program or something. Why would you make it look like Jared Leto with a beard? Like, so not only do we want it to intimidate, we want it to kind of like creep out whoever it's going to be attacking. So the last thing they see, they have a little like in their throat, like, anyway, I'd like to do a really deep discussion in the next few weeks or maybe month or so on maybe that can be when I'm on vacation. We do a little catching up on the history of Tron. Tron is where it's led to, where it's going, where it's fallen down, and where it could have gone in general. I don't know if you have I don't know if that's, I know you're a big nerd and you love a lot of nerd stuff. Not everybody can be into the same thing. This was something I saw as a very young child that I was mildly obsessed with then. That's kind of come and gone from my life over time. Sometimes it's like that Simpsons bit when he's like, did anybody see the movie Tron? And they're like, no.
I was going to say, I have seen Tron, and that's about as far as I remember.
Okay, well, then this it will be one of those, I know the thing, and I will explain it to you. And did you see the second one?
Like the one more recent?
Yeah.
I've seen parts of it.
Really? You haven't even seen that?
Yeah, I need to go back and watch it.
Yeah, we might have to do that. Okay, well, there we go.
So wrap up.
Do you hate Tron?
I don't hate Tron. It's just...
Do you hate the idea of Tron?
No, it's one of those, like you said, with the one thing, it's like you mean to get around to watching it, and you just never do. Yeah. And then it gets to a point you're just like, I don't think I've actually seen Tron, and I'm afraid to admit that.
Yeah, there's some stuff. Like, I haven't seen 2001.
That's a little bit harder to watch.
I don't like.
It's
I've
slower.
probably lied about that on this podcast, and I'm revealing the truth now. Like I pretend because I know so much about it, just having been around. It's like if you haven't seen Jurassic Park, like you know everything that happens in Jurassic Park because it's just in the zeitgeist. But I haven't seen 2001. I own it. Have not watched it yet. Just never got around to it. So anyway, yeah. Say we call it.
Yeah.
And come back fresh next week for Fantastic Four.
Yeah. So if you've made it with us this far, I don't know how, but thank you. Be sure to follow us on our social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram. We'll leave links in the description below. And until next time, see ya.